Hey, what's up? Zach here, and today I've got the all-new adidas Harden Volume 9. Let's get into them. So starting with the peripheral wrap of the uppers. Now you do get paneling, but these tubules that go from the heel all the way into the forefoot, these arcs, they're actually pretty dense padding. When I cut these open, underneath the material is actually pretty dense foam padding, and they span all the way from rear foot to forefoot, then they are cased. And so it does provide quite a bit of stability, and going side to side, the shoe does bend really well. It doesn't feel as clunky as it would look. The one thing is though, with both sides converging into the forefoot, there is a lot of bending and snapping in the forefoot. So there is a little bit of break-in that these need. It's a couple days of break-in, to be honest. The uppers, there's just so much in them. Now you get a lot of containment for that, and you get a glove-like fit for that, so that's good, but it does require a little bit of break-in. Now going underneath of that layer, you do get a booty liner or a slipper tongue, and you do get those internal looped lace eyelets that do create that hybrid slipper tongue, three-piece tongue, which I absolutely love. I think this was one of the better ideas in lace closure. It's simple, but super effective. Like I said, you get the glove-like fit of the booty liner, which I had zero heel slippage with whatsoever. It's kind of becoming a staple in the Harden line, just no heel slippage at all. And then in the rear foot, you do get this stitched in insert of padding, which once again just feels like a bear hug around your Achilles tendon. It just locks you in so well. But the nice thing is that booty liner, that slipper tongue, although it is padded, it does have a lot of pores for breathing. Look at this thing on the breathability test. It only heated up 108.1 degrees, which I find to be a miracle with a shoe with this much padding, especially in the forefoot. You get a ton of padding and then the paneling going over top of it. Interesting was on the breathability mapping, the fog was coming out of these side panels really, really easily, and you can see through them on the inside of the shoe. So it's a substantial shoe. All right, the uppers are heavy, but they breathe really well, and once you break them in, they feel pretty good. The one thing I noticed though about these versus some of the more previous versions of the Harden that are kind of using this overall silhouette is I did get a lot more rubbing on my medial ankle on these. Now, if I tied them down really well, like if I really got a cinch down fit, then it started moving with me and it was fine. Then once I broke them in, it was a lot better, but I did notice that if I wasn't tying these, really snug, that's when I was starting to get a lot of rubbing. You get a more one-to-one, that rubbing goes down and down and down. It does require a little bit of break-in, but like I said, I noticed it on these ones versus the ones before that I actually even had to think about it. On the upper durability test on these things, 10 seconds highest grit sandpaper. Yeah, I mean, the burr does work through the outer layer of that wrap, but it doesn't get through the uppers. So honestly, these are more indoor shoes anyway, so I think as long as you keep it on indoor courts, yeah, you should be just fine. All right, but getting into the midsole teardown, a little bit of a conundrum. It looks like an entire bed of Light Boost because the compartments of Boost are really wide open. That's a real hallmark of that Light Boost. It really feels underfoot like Jet Boost because previous Light Boost models I've tried feel more like packing peanuts. This feels a lot more springy. When we get to the bounce height test, you'll see why also. I think they may have tuned that Light Boost a little bit more. You do have a carrier that goes around the shoe. I'm guessing that's probably a Light Strike carrier. And then you do have a double thickness shank. It is molded, it is bottom loaded, but goes all the way from the rear foot and sends leaflets into the forefoot. Once again, the Harden line shoes are not super lightweight shoes. They just give so much back. And like I alluded to just a second ago, these things on the bounce height test got 47 centimeters in the rear foot, 45 in the forefoot. So on that test, this is the second bounciest foam I've ever done, except for the Anta Shockwave 6. And it feels underfoot, like I said, it feels super springy, super lively. A lot like Jet Boost feels, but like I said, it looks like Light Boost just to the eye. So is it a more tuned Light Boost under there, or is it a different type of Jet Boost? Does it really matter? No, because remember, Light Boost, Jet Boost, and regular Boost, it's the same compartmentalized eTPU, but just with the dials turned a little bit. So whichever dial they turned, they did the right one because these things feel bouncy, they feel nimble, and they feel nimble for especially the profile of the shoe. Just like some of the more previous Harden lines, you look at them, they look like bulky, clunky shoes, and you put them on, and they're not. But getting into the outsole tread, this is just two radial patterns basically converging, just borrowed from the Harden Volume 8. It is a very, very thin tread profile. Look at this thing though on the grip test ramp, initial grip doesn't slip till 45 degrees. It does pick up quite a bit of dust though. I mean, tacky rubber like this, these like small tines of rubber, they're gonna pick up some dust. I kind of wish they would have made this a little bit more chunky rubber. Plus the durometer only comes in at 13.5, so it's not super hard rubber. Look at this thing though on the outsole durability test, 10 seconds highest grit sandpaper. Yeah, I mean, millimeter of damage, and basically that just bottoms out the tread. So on indoor courts, they'll be okay. They're not going to be the most durable thing on the planet. And like I said, that's a little bit disappointing just because the uppers are durable in terms of blunt containment, right? They're gonna hold up a long time, even with really, really rugged play. The midsole is gonna hold up really, really well. So I feel like, honestly, I think Adidas could make these in an outdoor version too, especially because Adidas tennis rubber is really good. So I mean, they could just slap some Adidas tennis rubber on this and make like a Harden outdoor shoe, have it ride up a little bit higher on the uppers, and I think they would sell awesome. I mean, I would buy them for outdoor courts, especially because that light boost in there is gonna be pretty darn protective with that shank on outdoor courts. So just an idea for the Adidas basketball designers, could be a fun shoe to do. Look at this thing on the speed ratio, comes in at a 2.85, shank score of 0.4 brings it up to a 3.25. Yeah, I think that's kind of where they belong. Are they the fastest shoes out there? No, because they are still pretty heavy, right? It's a heavy shoe. Yeah, they give a ton back to you, but they still do have quite a bit of heft to them, and you can feel that weight. I found, just like I said, for how containing they are, how rugged they are, just how much they give back to you, yeah, I think they do quite a bit. Are they gonna be the leaning gamma? Absolutely not. But like I said, for what you get out of that and what you get for all that weight, I still think for the weight and profile of them, they're incredibly nimble, fast shoes, going coast to coast or even short court speed as well. All right, but getting into the fit of the Harden Volume 9, these things only have a 7-degree inflare. It is a pretty straight lasted shoe, which is nice, but they do come in pretty long at 29.1 centimeters of length, 9.6 centimeters metatarsal width, 10.6 centimeters of toe box width, and a toe box taper, pretty standard 27 degrees. So I'd say narrow medium foot. I mean, if you're narrow, you want to go down half size, I think that's fine, especially because you get a little more glove-like fit in the ankle collar, so you don't get as much rubbing. I think a medium foot, if you want a roomy fit, go true to size. If you want a more glove-like fit, you want more weight reduction, you can go down half size in these. A 2E, I go true to size. A 4E, I go true to size on these. I did have a little bit of break-in on these because I have a C-shaped foot, my styloid process, just because there's so much bulky padding, and then it is reinforced in the uppers. So once they broke in, I mean, they were just fine. I had no problems after, I'd say on the outside of my foot, maybe, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes. The forefoot of the shoe was what took the long time to break in, right? The bending and snapping in the forefoot, the rest of it was fine. In terms of the snake-bitten foot, once again, one of the better shoes out there. Especially with an orthotic, because they will accept even a bulkier orthotic or a brace. Really anything you're gonna throw at these, they're pretty decent. I will say the flange on them isn't super wide, so you can roll these. They're so bottom stable though, that it is harder to. So I wouldn't say they're the most elite shoe in the world for ankle sprainers. They're also not bad either by any means, just because like I said, the weight and profile of the shoe kind of really helps out there. And so with that being said, for most things, aside from like, you know, lower leg weakness, maybe specific compartment weakness in your legs, that'd be really the only thing I would say to watch out for with these. But getting into the all-important performance and playability of the Harden Volume 9, yeah, once again, you take them out of the box and you think, and you feel them like, they might be a little bit clunky, and they're not. and it is funny how nimble they are, especially my little ladder drill that I set up, and mine I have now is a little bit chunky. I might get a different one. But even on that one, it's really easy to knock the tines of the ladder off. Even with that, these did pretty darn well with that. And I've got pretty clunky footwork, right? Like I got the feet of an elephant, let's be honest. And even I felt really, really nimble in these things. No, the tread does not have super tack grip once it starts to get dusty, but wiping them down is really no problem. And honestly, I never felt like that was slipping out from underneath of them. The tread profile of them, you do catch, right? I mean, they become a little bit more forgiving, but it's not bad. I didn't feel like I was going ice skating in these things by any means, so that was nice. And like I said, short court speed, nimble, quick footwork, trying to create separation for yourself, you know, just trying to crab dribble through a crowd, things like that. They do just as well as they do going coast to coast. And getting up and down for layup after layup after layup, really not terrible. I would say if you've got stronger legs, you can put enough energy into the shoe. They're gonna be really good for repeat layups and rebounds and dunks. I think if you've got a little bit more leg weakness or you can't put enough energy into the shoe, you might not get as much back from them. So I would say that might be a dividing line too on who likes the performance of these versus who doesn't. But once again, in terms of shoe, super containing, super rugged in terms of internal containment protection. Yeah, it's definitely the most nimble, maximalist shoe out there. And once again, Adidas basketball is just doing some cool things. Really, really have fun doing Adidas basketball shoes these days. Super fun. Hopefully that continues into the future. So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you want to see what's, I feel like it's becoming almost like the younger sibling to the Harden line, the Dame 9 going to the knife. A lot of similarities to the Harden, just kind of in a little more of a streamlined package. Make sure you click into this video up above and subscribe down below. Respect, rubber, and foam. I'll see you somewhere in the sneakerverse.